Okay, yes. So let me start with a sort of a broader reflection. I think the last 2 decades, unfortunately, have seen gave us a few examples of rare events, right? Starting back from 9/11 up to the financial crisis, roughly 10 years ago, and what happened in North African countries after 2010, and now COVID-19 pandemic breakout, which is just the last on the list from a chronological point of view. But as all my colleagues already highlighted, the impact is truly huge, it's truly global, is on everyone's life and every business daily routines. But I think it serves for us as a wake-up call that at the end, unfortunately, the unexpected and the unlikely are really more tangible and plausible than anyone could previously anticipate, right? I think we are seeing accelerations everywhere or willing to accelerate in more or less any direction. But I think both business and political leaders will agree with me that some and probably most of the changes that are induced by the pandemic situation now in domains like strategy, management, operations, public policy, budgetary priorities are probably here to stay in a way or in another for a longer time, even after COVID. From an IBM perspective, and going closer to now technology, what we do see is this. It's a pretty broad topic, right? It's a generalized acceleration towards digital transformation, adoption of digital technologies, adoption of cloud technologies in different phases. I think there were plenty of organizations that started already. These topics were more or less on top of the agendas of many players, but probably COVID just, provided even more accelerating factor, and in some cases reshuffled those agenda priorities. This digital transformation, at the end of the day, it's enabled by what we call exponential technologies and increasing adoption of those, right? Like artificial intelligence, automation, blockchain, Internet of Things, across the different sectors. And there is a growing interest. It was there before as well, but probably the current situation accelerates even more in the innovation process itself. So how innovation is created, how public and private players can stay on top of startup accelerator programs, coming up with programs for implementing innovation hubs. There are many organizations are not always at ease keeping the pace with the speed of innovation in the way it happens across different fields. So they need some help into understanding what is truly relevant depending on the context and how to integrate recent advances in technology within the, I would say, daily reality, right? I would even say that this sort of air of global uncertainty, it's putting at least a convergence, a unique, strong accent on the need to capture efficiency gains across the spectrum. So everyone understands today that whatever he's doing, he probably can do better, faster, more accurately. And that's really the core trigger behind the digital transformation, at least one of the most important angles. We see growing demand across European countries in redesigning entire business processes, coming up with what we call intelligent workflows, new ways of doing business that are powered at the end by automation technologies, for example, artificial intelligence and the like. We went through several programs, both in the private and public sector, working with insurance companies, with banks, large industrial players, where at the end, the final goal is not only to have sort of digital interfaces at the beginning and at the end of a business process, or having, for example, chats to immediately and real time talk to clients, or maybe have digital e-documents to speed up onboarding of clients. But it's also, that's the next step of digital transformation, is going into the core of the backbone process and plugging additional intelligence in new technologies to speed it up, essentially helping subject matter experts in their field, how to set up a new type of partnership between the human and the technology. So combine what we call hybrid AI systems, where you have the best of new AI technologies with the need to have human subject matter experts still in the loop. So that's the next step. So there are plenty of examples also in the public space with the need to improve efficiency into. So first of all, breaking the legacy, the technology legacy, modernizing the infrastructure. As my colleague was making the example for the 5G in the telco sector, that's true across verticals. Digitizing, for example, making smarter the taxation system. For example, if we want to assure companies that want to invest in a region to get fast access to all the needed information to do that. I think another field where it's a no-brainer. We all have kids, or we have friends who have kids. So we are seeing these days, it's crazy actually, entire generations of students taking classes from home. And even we probably do not understand yet, what is going to be the mid to long-term impact of this situation. But what we truly understand is the importance of having up-to-date, state-of-the-art technology platforms to help them facing this challenge. So having platforms that can, for example, filter content by relevance, that can help teachers to correct student tests in an unbiased way, having modern communication platform underlying the educational platform itself. So that's very, very important. I think all in all, I would say, as was pointed out also by other speakers, that all the subtopics that are part of the digital transformation broader topic, they were already there. No surprise. But today, the pandemic situation just put a strong acceleration factor. It's challenging because it's a systemic shock, which is going across all different fields. So entities, both public and private, have to face the challenge, the accelerating challenge across a number of dimensions, which is not simple. So priorities got shifted. But I think that, the bottom line of the pandemic situation is that, so it's, essentially, there is a constant need today to be able to work in continuously changing situations. So there is not almost anymore a stable environment. We need to gain those skills that gives us agility and the ability to adapt to constantly new and unseen situations. So at the end, this is going to be really new crucial driver for all players to gain sustainable competitive advantage. We all hope that finally the situation will soon get to sort of a normality, and hopefully it's not too different from the normality that we were used to before pandemic.